So we had one of our users make an inquiry about some technicalities of creating a little more than standard islands, kitchen islands in AutoCAD Architecture. So I'm going to make a video covering that subject because it can be complicated, especially since we offer several different ways to solve that type of a problem. So to begin with, I'll go to the content browser and go to the kitchen cabinets kit that we offer. And I'm going to jump right into the G1 cabinets, but be aware we offer G2s and G3s. The G stands for generation, and it basically means the evolution of how we customized objects in AutoCAD architecture to solve cabinet problems. I still use the G1 for most of my work, and we'll see why. So I'll go into the G1, which are based on walls. And for an island, if you go a couple of pages in, you'll see we have a very standard top surface. So this is great for islands, but it wouldn't necessarily only be for islands. It is a slab object, so I'm going to go ahead and insert that. And when I draw this, be aware that the way we designed this is that it has a 1-inch overhang on all 4 sides. So that's very common in US cabinetry. So if I go ahead and I draw this out, say 5 feet, that's actually going to be 5 feet plus 1 inch on each side out-to-out measurement. So just be aware of that. And then if I draw this up, let's say 48, and then O to close, or OR, just O to close. So what I've actually drawn here is I've drawn this as 5'2" by 4'2", or what did I do to the top? I forgot. Oops. We'll just throw those dimensions on there so you can see what it did. Okay, so out to out. So if I want a true, if I want those numbers to represent the outside dimension of 4 and 2, or 5 and 4 foot, just go here and make sure what you pull in is the actual edge. So 2 inches here, and then I'll pull this in 2 inches here. Okay, and because these dimensions weren't locked to anything, there we go. You can see now. I just did that. All right. And so what we have here is an outline showing the body below. And what you can do, for example, with that outline is if you want to show that this is an island with a sitting area, you can pull the body back, say 12 inches, and then pull the overhang out like so to show that this is the area that will be a sitting area. So if you were just worried about plan view, you could probably call this done. In plan, that looks like a kitchen island with a body underneath. But to add to this, to make it more realistic in 3D and for elevations and renderings, let's keep working. Okay, so I'll go back now, and what I'm going to need is a body, a cabinet body underneath. So we have an option here. If you don't have that option here, and this was a later release, the most recent release has the body option. You can go back a couple of pages and just use a regular base cabinet, this one here, and just pull it down to 211, so it loses its backsplash and top. But I'll go back to the body, which is here, and I'm going to go ahead and draw that body. Let's see. Let's lock the, okay, I got that lock, and I'll just draw it here, right? And then because I've got the Z lock, I'll just move it forward. All right, sort of like that. And then if we look at that in 3D, this is what I've now created. All right, so let's go to top, and let's go back. Let's maybe add a wall. So we have island wall options. You have one with a kick. You have one that's just a square wall. That's the one I'll use. If I go back one page, there's another one here. Let's see, right here. That's a different base. So this is an external. This is a very common island base where the base rides on the outside of the wall, so no kick on it. But they're very similar. I'll use the one that the user requested using, which was this one here. And then I will just draw that wall from here over to here. All right, and let's look at that in 3D and make sure that all looks good. So that wall needs to come up a little bit. So we'll just pull that wall up underneath here. All right. And then we will want perhaps cabinetry on the other side. So I'm just going to use the mirror command. I'm going to mirror this cabinetry over to the other side, and I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to pull it back to this body line in the countertop there. So it's a very narrow cabinet. Now I believe the user had like a 12-inch depth. This is coming in at about 7 inches, so kind of a silly cabinet, but let's keep going with what I mocked up here. If I go to top view, I might, let's see, plan, world, okay, much better. Now you might end up getting, if I move this cabinet, oops, if I move the, let's just do a window here. If I move this back here, you might see that. And that is because these cabinets, these G1s, are based on walls, and what it's trying, you've got drawn two walls side by side. So if you don't want this error message, run over, select the cabinet, either one, and just turn off the cleanup on that, because this is not a real wall. You can just turn it off, and then that'll be good. All right, so let me move that back out. Now I might want to move that back in. We'll take a look at that in a minute here, but I'll move that back out. So what I've got here is now a good island. If we go to conceptual, so we've got this. Now I'm not keen on seeing that wall sticking through like that, so I'll pull that back in and make some adjustments. But everything else is looking good. If we look underneath, you can see this probably will work. This overhang will probably need some structural support, unless you thicken it all up with plywood, but that's up to you. Okay, so what we need to do is add some kicks to the ends here. Now, this body is not really the same as this one here. If we go back to page 1. So this one here is a 25-inch deep cabinet. It has a backsplash, and a countertop with a 1-inch overhang, and then the body underneath. Total depth 25, very common in the US. This body here is only 24, but we can still get away with using the end cap for the 25. So this is what we'll do. We'll bring in the kick. So I'm going to go to next page, next page, next page, and right here you'll see base cabinet end caps. So we'll go ahead and pull that in, and we'll snap to this guy here. And we'll just, when you do that, it turns off your, temporarily turns off your O-snaps. You can just do an MID and pick there. So a whole list of different end cap options will pop in. The one you will want is the one for a very standard cabinet, the 25-inch or square. So you pull that in, and then let's see what happened here. Let's check that dimension. That's good, that's 3 inches. So we lost an inch because it is trying to compensate for the 1 inch of overhang if it had a countertop. So all you got to do to fix that is just pull it out 1. Now, if that's confusing, we'll just build an end cap for the second counter. But over here on this side, we'll select that. We'll run over here on our properties palette. And see here, here's by doing that insert and attaching it, we wound up bringing in that end caps. We'll just assign it to the other side manually. So where's the 25 there? And this will have the same problem with the 1 inch because it thinks there's a countertop. All right, but there you go. So that will give you the 3-inch kick. And how is all that done? So we might as well discuss that because you're going to need that for this one over here. I don't think you can get away with using the, we'll try here. Try and use the 25 here. Yeah, it didn't like that at all. You can see what happened. See, because it was designed for the cabinet that had a countertop backsplash and was 25 inches deep. Now it's working on the body because the body dimensions are the same. This is 24 with a 3-inch kick at the front. So, but this one here, it's not going to work, and we'll have to do a custom wall end cap style. And I've done other videos. I want to set this back to standard. I've done other videos on end caps, but this is basically what you need to do. You draw a P line right here. This will establish your 0, and then you tell it how far out the body above it needs to go. So I'm going to come out 3 inches, then over to here. If I can just get that O track, it's not going to want to do that. So I'm going to turn off this. and come over, here we go. Okay, so I'm just going to do a dot Y, boom, and then click, and then come over 3 inches. Okay, let's go to wireframe. All right, so I've got my 2 polylines. That's all I need for this cabinet body. So I'm going to do a wall end cap style. Oops. Wall end cap style. And I'll use the same naming convention here: kit, cab, base, end. This one is, I think, was 7, 8 inches, something like that. I wish I had tracked that. This is a 7 inches square. All right. And double click. Oops. Right click. Sorry. Set from. So the way that these cabinets work is they start from the bottom up. So this would be the first one, end cap, and then you do a yes here, 1, and then yes, and then select the second one. And there are only 2 parts to it, so just hit enter, enter, enter. And let's get out of this guy, apply, and OK. All right, and now let's test it here. So we'll need it on both sides, so we'll just go ahead and go 7 square, and we'll do it on the other side, 7 square. Okay, now that should work. I don't know if 7 was the number here. What was the value? The value was 7. Oh, all right. And so if you check here, that should be 3 inches. Yep. So that's how you do that little end cap for these. Now we'll get back to the wall. You can see why I wanted to adjust the wall. So we'll shade this conceptual. All right. So that wall is not going to work out. So what I would really do in the real world is I would stick this in like that. And then I would pull that in the thickness of probably the edge material. So like a 1/2 inch. I would pull it in, oops, come on, 1.5. Something like that. And then I would, in fact, have these cabinets butt to butt, like this. So that I have the wall in there for my section and my plan. But in my renders and stuff, let's pull this 0.5, like that, right? So if I go to Plan World and go to 3D Wireframe, I should have that wall. The wall is sitting right there. And I'm only putting that wall in there maybe for the hatch pattern here, or not hatch, but the dash line to indicate that there's a wall. Or if I cut a section through, I would like to see that wall material. So the next thing we can do here, talk about seeing all of these dash lines if you don't want them. Let's see, this cabinet, I should pull this back to line up. And then, yeah, there we go. So that's better. So this is medium, this is high, and this is low. If you don't want to see those dashed lines, let's go to medium. What you can do is you can select the cabinetry here, and you can go to Edit Wall Style. You can go to Plan, or it'd be Low Plan or High Plan. And you can just come in here and you can turn off everything if you want to get rid of that. So here's above cut plane. What's the cut plane set to? It's 1 foot. Let's just turn both things off then. All right, so you won't see it, just be aware of that, but that gets rid of that. And likewise on the slab, if you don't want to see that, you can go to Edit the Slab Style, Plan, and you can figure out where's the cut plane, and this is set at 0. So I might do something like this. I might set that to 2 feet 11.5. So I'm guaranteeing that I'm cutting through the, just the top portion, and then I'm going to get rid of anything else that's below. So I just want above that cut plane, and that'll clean all that up so you don't see anything other than that. And then finally, if the wall bothers you, it's just a wall, right? It was the structural wall that's holding this up, so you can do whatever you would normally do with your walls. You can turn those components off as well. So that's just the basics of an island that will look good in most views if you render it, if you shade it. We can go to realistic here. All right, so it'll look something like that. And I actually just do this with most of my cabinet work. especially if I'm rendering it from like this far away. Never heard anybody go, hey, I don't see any cabinet doors and drawers and handles and stuff. But of course, everybody has different needs, different customers, different clients, different practices in offices. Maybe you are a cabinet shop or something that designs those, so this won't fly. So we take it a little bit farther. Now, let's see, I should undo and go back to, say, here. I'm going to copy this island over, and we're going to go a little, oops, I didn't go far enough. I want to see those outlines. Okay, top, medium. Okay, this is good. There we go. I wanted those outlines in there. All right, so if we go now to the kitchen cabinets kit, I'll jump all the way out. We can go to G2, G2 cabinets here, and then you'll see that in the second generation or evolution here, what we focused on was how do you get doors and drawers or a bank of drawers into something that, in AutoCAD architecture. And what we do is we use curtain walls. So that's what G2 is curtain walls. Let's see, what do we have here? We even have one that's already set up for an island. Let's go ahead and bring that one in just for fun. So we'll insert that one, and I'm going to draw that right here. All right, and I'm going to go to high detail so you can see how that one is set up, and maybe I'll line that up here. Actually, it would be better if I lined it up at the front, maybe. There, okay. And we'll go into 3D view on this. Let's hide this stuff. All right. So this is a pretty quick solution, as you can see. If we go even to realistic, right? It's ready to go. You can flip these doors. You just go to the door, and you can just get them to work more like that. And basically, it's a curtain wall in which, oops, let's see, come on, I want the door. Where's the door? There we go. Right, so you can get that look in your elevations. That makes more sense. Now it's just a curtain wall with actual doors in it. That's a real door. You can look over here on the properties. And this is a door. I think we based this door on, let's take a look. I think it was a roll-up or something. So we go design rules. It's an overhead, yeah, to make it appear as a drawer. Now, this will come with its own limitations and its own issues, but we can sort of merge these two as we move along, and I'll show you what you can do with this one as well. But we'll go to top view, and we'll go back to wireframe. Okay, so this is back to that slab, and we'll go back to the G2 cabinets. Now here's a base cabinet, and it's designed with kicks on both ends. You'll see here kick on one end, no kick on the other end. These are just to sort of help you pick it off. You can make adjustments afterward, but I might as well pick one that has kicks on both ends. And I'll go ahead and I'm going to draw that, I don't know where. Let's make sure we lock this. I'll just draw it from here to here. And then I'm going to go ahead and move it from here. This is the front of the cabinet to here, like so. All right, and I may have to make some more adjustments. All right. Now, this particular G3 cabinet comes with the top, and it comes with a backsplash, and I don't want either of those. Now, you can't just grab that and solve the problem like that because it is a curtain wall that was designed differently than the wall style. So we'll have to actually go in and remove those components. Let's go back like this. But you'll see it has the kick, and that's the stuff I would like to use. So we'll just make a modification to this thing. So what I would do here is I'd go ahead, grab the G2 cabinet, standard base cabinet, right click, do a copy, and I would probably indicate here that I might put the word in island cabinet, something like that, so that I know that it has no countertop or something. Then we'll go to design rules. And what we're going to do right here on design rules primary, right here, we're going to get rid of this top component. This is setting up where the countertop sits. This is not going to have a countertop. So we'll just remove it. All right. And then we'll go down to mullions, I think. And here's the countertop. So it has a countertop as a mullion. Let's go back up to primary. So we'll see, well, there's the backsplash. Let's get rid of that. Remove. And countertop here. There we go. Under the mullion, we'll remove that. And we should be good to go. All right. So now I can grab that guy and I can pull it down to the 2'11" mark right down here. Let's take that lock off and snap down. Boom. All right. So now we have a G2 cabinet working with the slab countertop. And of course, what I can do now is I can mirror this. Right, and then I have the other side of this. Now, this side is too deep. Let's say on this one we wanted 1 foot deep. So what I can do is I can select it, right-click, copy this one, and I'm going to add now that it's only, and so I might do something like 12 deep. And go to the design rules. Now I'll have to adjust everything that gives this curtain wall, which is a cabinet, depth value. So I'm gonna have to do infills, but let's first go to the frames. So backsplash is no longer in here. So what I'm gonna do is right click here, purge, and get rid of those confusing items. And go to mullions, right click and purge and get rid of those. Purge things out so we don't have to look at stuff that no longer applies. So it has a base that I now shrink by 12 inches. So, or that I want to shrink by 12 inches. So I'm going to pull 12 inches out of everything. So I'm going to pull 12 inches out of the base. And this is going to be, this is the offset of the base. So I'm going to reduce that to half of the 9, so 4.5. And then the ends are going to be easier if you just do half. But it was a 24-inch deep cabinet. I'm now going to make it 12. And the offset is going to be 6 here. So that you're drawing it from the back of the cabinet. Under mullions, I'm going to do the same thing. 12 here and 6 here. And then the dividers, 12 here and 6 here. Now finally, I'll go up to the infills. The infills are those doors and drawers. And you'll notice that there's more than just the default ones. You can actually come in and just set something different up. Each of these is now going to have to shrink by the half amount. So this goes to 6. Because I went from a 2-foot cabinet to a 1-foot cabinet. So I'm taking away half of that change. All right, boom. All right, so let's see if everything worked out. Yeah, so this one's good. Now, I said that these are a little more complicated. Each of these curtain walls has door window assemblies inside. So what you're seeing here is the same door window assembly style as the normal cabinet on the other side, which you can get by selecting right here. All right, and that is what actually lays out your doors and drawers, which is also a feature that where you can switch them up. You can have a single door all the way up, and then you can have bank of drawers here, and you can have double doors over here. You can do all kinds of cool stuff. But this DWA was designed for a 24-inch deep cabinet. So I have to now grab this, right-click, copy this guy, and change that to 12 inches deep to match the depth. And I'll go to design rules, and I'll go down here to infills, and I'm going to knock all of these guys down. 6 here, 6 here. On the frames, I'm going to do the same thing. This is going to be 12 now. And on mullions, this is going to be 12 now. So what I've created is a DWA that will now reside inside the curtain walls to serve as doors and drawers. Now, you see the other two here are still the older ones, and that's because I haven't actually told this custom curtain wall that it needs to use the new 12-inch deep DWAs. So I'm going to right-click, edit that curtain wall style, go to the infills, and go to door and drawer, and I will now find it over there because I did that copy and I made the new one. Notice I did not copy a single door, drawers 3, or drawers 4. If you plan on using any of those in a 12-inch deep or any modified cabinet, you're going to have to make copies of those and adjust all the values like I did for the door and drawer, which is the default. Now I'm going to set it over here like so. So now it puts all of those guys in there. And now you've created a fully custom G2 cabinet sitting underneath a slab island top. All right. Now for the kicks, if you select something like this particular G2 custom cabinet, and just go into Edit Curtain Wall Style, you'll see where you find the term base, which is a mullion. You'll see that it, where is it here? That's a base panel. Where's the base? Here you go. Base, not a panel, but a base, an actual bottom base. Here's the 4 inches of the kick, start and end. So you could change that to a 0 and a 0, and you'll end up, oops, yeah, that's too far. The reason it went all the way out is it's going to the outer edge, which is measured at, you know, remember this cabinet once had a countertop on it. So you actually will need, if you want it to come back, 1 inch in, which is a total of 2 inches if it had a top on it. So we'll go back. Frames, here's the base, so we would go 1 inch in, 1 inch in, and that'll line up right there. All right, so that's why it said 4, because it's adding the depth of the overhang. And we can go back and of course base, set that to 4, and then you have your kicks. So it's a little easier to do the kicks on these curtain wall solutions than it is to do it on, if I go back here where you got to, you know, it was a wall and you got to do the whole wall end cap style. But I think each of these provides a variety of options and solutions. So there's a little bit of pain with each one, but a little bit of benefit as well. Now, the final way to do it, if you are really into getting these cabinets looking correct with the right drawers and hardware and so forth, is to go to the G3s. So I will go ahead and copy the slab over. And we'll go to wireframe and top. Okay. And we'll jump up here. Let's start at the outside here. So in the catalog library, kitchen cabinets, next page, G3 cabinets. All right. Now, I pretty much felt we should just get rid of the G2s. But the G2s periodically offer some pretty neat features. You could see for this island work, you get a bank really quickly, right? So if you were to copy something like this out now that you've made it, and you need some, let's see, you got to pick the bottom now here. You need a row of doors and drawers. I mean, it's so fast, right? The G1s were meant to emulate how a cabinet shop actually deals with those doors and drawers. They're units. Each one is its own function and its own layout. So for example, if you wanted a standard single door with a drawer, you would just draw that in, and you would use the dimension that they might actually offer at a cabinet shop, so say 24. So that becomes a unit. I will now take that with my lock on. Oh, I drew that snapping again. Let's get rid of that. You got to be careful what I snap to here. So let's lock the Z. Good. All right. And then let's just draw that in here. I'll come over 24, and then I'll go ahead and just move that forward, this here to here. So that becomes, if we look at that in 3D, that becomes one unit. And I can now go in and I can say, well, the next one I want graphic issues. Let's see here. Let's go to G3. Let's put a bunch of drawers in. So here's one with 4 drawers. I think the next one over has 3 drawers. Yeah, this one here. So we'll go ahead and just continue from here. Say another 24. So you can see how you can build up, you know, an island or a standard kitchen configuration. Maybe this needs to be longer. I don't know. Maybe it comes out to here, something like that. But so yeah, each of these is a unit. So if you stretch it ridiculously long, you're going to get ridiculously long results because they were meant for a standard length of cabinetry. They don't repeat like the G2s, but they offer all of this adaptability. Now with these, you're going to run into the same problem. They were designed to be 24 inches deep. So if I mirror this over as that, and I want the backside, you will have to repeat the work that I just demonstrated before. You would have to do a copy. You would have to go up here and you would say something like 12 inches deep. You don't have to do 12, of course. It could be 18, it could be 4, it could be whatever value you want. And you'll just have to run through here and make all of the necessary changes. So primarily here you would go on, let's see, this is, what's the default? 1, 2, 3. Drawer, so it must be the drawer bank, I think, here. Solid. Yeah, it's only drawers. So I would make this, on this one here, it would be half that 12. Go down to the frames. I would have to make that 9. This, oops, 4.5. So all the same steps as I covered before, which can be tedious. But once you've done it, you've got something great. I wasn't planning on doing this, but now 12 here, 6 here, plywood top, 12 here, 6 here, mullions, 12 here, 6 here, and hopefully that works. There we go. All right, cool. Yeah, so now the kicks again. So these don't come with kicks. Let's go up here. I don't recall if there's a kick button. I don't think we added a kick tool. Oh, end kicks, there is. So insert into drawing, pick here, and then say you want to do base end kick, and OK. And it did it to the other side. That's fine. You just do a mirror. Just mirror this across the top like that. And yes, and that should work out. So what happened here is by using that tool, it brought in the 3-inch offset as an override on the cabinet. And that's one way to do it. The other way is you can manually do it. So there's the 3-inch. Let's do a, there we go. All right. So the other way that you can do it is you can actually, you have to be careful though, because if you're using a variety of these, you have to make one that has a custom style just to have the kick on it. But I'll show you here where the kick is. So you go in and you go to, let's see, the divider, the frame. Here's the base. So as before, so I could say 3. So this is 3, not 4, because this one doesn't have a splash on it. So you use the 3 inches there. But the problem is now, without an override on it, this cabinet will always have that. And if you change it back, it'll affect the other cabinet. So you might want to make a copy of the style with a kick on it. All right. Or you can use our tool here to just introduce an override. So insert into drawing, go ahead and snap to this. Tell it you want to do the base end kick, just a single one. There's one for 2 kicks, and here's 1 kick. Okay, and on that one, it did the. I didn't have to mirror it. All right. Let's see what else we need to get into. The same thing with this one here, the kick on that. I think there was something else that was important. If you're working with the G2 island tool, you can increase or decrease the depth of the island by going into Edit the Curtain Wall Style. And you're going to see under mullions, there's the countertop. And the countertop is set to 3 feet with a 7-inch offset. And I'll show you the reason why on that. So if I go ahead and just grab, let's see, I just want this unit, here we go. And if we go to left view, so this cabinet, any of the solutions we provide, you should pay attention to the baseline of that object. So we designed this particular cabinet and many of the others to work off of a certain position to make them easier to draw. By default, a curtain wall will want to go through the center. That doesn't really make sense when you're doing cabinets. Most of the cabinets are drawn along walls, so we use the back side as the baseline when you're drawing it. So that also serves, so we'll draw this up. That serves as where this curtain wall kind of sees itself as, as a reference point. So you have to think relative to that. So if I go in here and I go to the mullion and I go to countertop, right, I have 3 feet with a 7-inch offset. So if I draw a line up here like this, and I draw it 3 feet, and I come back down, the 7 inches is going in this direction right there. So it's 7 inches relative to the to that offset, because I want to push the countertop. So another way of explaining this, and you'll figure this out on your own if you tweak this. If you go to the mullion, you go to the countertop, and you just set it to 0 here for the offset in the Y direction. See, now it wants to center off of that original line, which is the baseline. So if I move this over and snap to here, it's shooting off of there. So now you should understand why you need the offset and how much you need. So if I go back and I go to the countertop and I say, well, what I want is a 42, I would just start with the 42 and then see how much you need. So here you need this much plus 1 inch. So it's 3 inches plus 1 inch. So 4 inches. So we'll just go back and we'll set the Y offset to 4. And then you're done. So now you have a 42-inch countertop. All right. What else? I remember seeing something in here. Is this it? No, it's not that one. It's not that one. Maybe it'll be something for a future video. Oh, here it is. Here it is. I remember running into this once. Okay, so in this particular shot, what happened was the material, that's a little confusing. Let me throw the kick on that. All right, and then I'm just going to mirror it from the top here because it has the kick on it now. Oops, UW. Mid. Yes. Okay, so that's better. Oh, it lined up. What I was going to show, well, that's fine. That's cool. I had run into a situation where the material just wasn't mapping out properly. It was shifting. And I'm going to show you how to take care of that if you run into issues like that. What you'll need to do is you'll need to pick the object. You go to the materials and you find out what material is being used. So this is the, let's see, this would be the end. Now notice cabinet base. Yeah, this is the end Yeah, that's it. So we'll go ahead and modify that material. Under high detail, now this could be under medium or low as well, but under high detail, you go to other and you can change the face mapping over to same as surface hatch so that you can control it. Then under surface hatch, what you would do here is you would set it to global. So what happens is that it'll read the material pattern from a global point. So it maps it all the way across your sort of environment from the same point of view. And that would fix any issues you're having with the mapping of these not lining up. I don't know what I... So I have that global. Surface hatch should be good. Oh, nope, 0. We can try 90 maybe. I'm not sure what happened here. 1. That shouldn't have happened. Let's go conceptual. All right, it could be one last thing. It could be that it thinks it's bottom. Yeah. So that's something that happens with using curtain walls. You're not really sure what is considered top, side, left, right, bottom, because the way a curtain wall sort of sees things in a vertical and a horizontal direction. Some components that something that is the top of one thing could be the left side in a different direction, something like that. But that little trick we're using global will fix any issues with material mapping if you run into that. It may create other problems, which is why we don't have that as a default. Try to have the mapping mostly as face mapping in our solutions. But anyway, that was the last part. Hopefully I've covered all the different things I was thinking about on this. And if not, I'll do a follow-up video. I'm out.